Hello, you're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we make up random side quests. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Tiffany. Just so you know, we are not professional writers in any way, shape, or form. At least we don't claim to be. We just really like tabletop RPGs, and we do this for fun.
That's right. How are you, Tiff?
Well, I almost messed up the word tabletop, so...
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah. My brain wanted to stop after table. I'm like, no, there's a top in there. And that lets you know that I do that live every single episode.
I was going to say, it's like our brains might be a little bit mushy because we just finished a campaign.
Yeah, that was fun.
I know that we've said, or we've talked about our Spelljammers campaign, and we kind of not talked for a while about it because nothing interesting happened.
Yeah, nothing terribly interesting except an entire war.
Well, that's the whole story of it.
Yeah, no, the end of the entire module is an entire war.
Hang on. If you actually care about spoilers for Spelljammers, we're going to talk about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just skip ahead a few minutes.
I don't know how long our talk is going to be, though. Actually, you know what, Brandon? Editing Brandon, can you, cut in right now to say when, what the timestamp is for no spoilers for the people? Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
Skip to the 13-minute, 40-second mark. So, now that that's out of the way, I just want to, preface with that.
Oh, yes.
So, I think we're just going to talk about the last session, which was one right after a ridiculous fight where we fought a challenge rating 16 monster.
And we weren't expected to win this fight, but we got close. Afterwards,
it got ridiculous, though.
It got so ridiculous.
He had a plus 15 to hit.
Yes, but afterwards he did tell us that he was one good sneak attack away from going down.
But anyways, yeah. So after that, we came back and it's like, oh, the big bad guy was crowned emperor and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then we got healed because Magic MacGuffin just...
Yeah.
got healed because it was the previous emperor's body. I believe that's who was.
Was it? No, I thought the previous emperor's body got lifted up into space.
I thought it was on the thing and then it got lifted up at that moment and then spoke.
No, it was the thing that tried to kill us that spoke.
I cannot remember the names. Okay.
It had a cool name.
Okay, so
I took notes and everything.
Anyway. Stating that the ring that we got from the emperor's sister who didn't want her brother to become emperor.
Yeah, the ring that I had because I was attuned to it.
Yeah, so we gave you the ring and the DM asked, okay, what do you do in response? I'm like, well, she has the ring and we need to get to that light thing in the temple.
Yeah, because if we put the ring, if we sent the ring to the star, it would destroy the star and save the universe.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I can make this simple. And I made her invisible.
Ta-da!
And I was like, okay, make her invisible. I just have to last long enough to not lose invisibility, concentration. Right? I thought this would have been super simple.
And then I rolled a terrible initiative score.
Well, also, I think...
So I went...
I don't know if it was actually intentional or not, but I think our DM was like, well, I can't have you end it that easily. So he's like, oh, there's 12 guards and they're all completely surrounding.
Before you made me invisible, he did mention the 12 guards.
Yes, but...
surrounding us, coming in to deal the death blow before the MacGuffin healed us. I almost said killed. I'm like, no, he didn't kill us. He healed us. I
still think he structured it in a way so you can't get out of it.
He tried.
And so then first round after a crit on me.
Yeah.
Did 48 damage and I only had 51 health. First attack on me and then I lose concentration.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just, they did so much damage.
They did a lot of damage.
Not even if it wasn't a crit, that's still a lot of damage for one attack. And they attacked 2 times a turn.
Jerks.
And then they got a crit and on me and almost killed me.
He technically had a choice. They could attack twice or do some mysterious other thing that he never actually used.
Yeah, so it was the...
Oh no, it was firing beams. They had beams they could fire.
I don't know if it was supposed to last longer because we had our 3 allies come in. The Emperor was still fighting. The Emperor, the Emperor did was
Summon a dragon.
Summon a dragon, and that was it.
Well, he didn't really have much of a chance to do anything else.
Because your husband went, I went, then
everyone
went, and then you went, in which
all the allies got to go before me too.
In which all you did was push someone to create an opening. You ran through, took a bunch of opportunity attacks.
Because I knew I could tank it, being a fighter and all. I had so much health.
And really
high AC.
And then tossing the ring in, which we all thought...
Throw the ring in the light would take the ring to the star. That's what we thought would happen. No, there has to be some intent, some living mind with the ring to be risen up in the light. So someone had to die.
So that was like one of the reasons where like the DM allowed you to, okay, go and pick it up.
Yeah.
So on the same turn.
Yeah.
And in my mind, what was going on was, okay, I thought he wasn't going to let you do that. Like, you already did so much in 6 seconds. I didn't think he would let you pick it up. It kind of screamed to me like this moment in the module, it would have been, oh, we have a way to quickly do it, which is someone sacrificing themselves.
Yeah.
But if you really want to, you could kill everyone here and then, like, probably throw the ring to the sun and get out kind of thing without anyone sacrificing themselves.
Fair. But I don't know if we would have been able to kill
everyone. Wouldn't have. And so I was thinking, oh, he wasn't going to let you do it because you did so much already.
Mm-hmm.
It would go next round, in which then I was planning on to, and I told you this after the session.
Right.
I was like, I have one single level 2 spell slot left, which I was saving for a hold person on the Emperor. That or heat metal, because those would have been funny.
That would have been hilarious.
But I saw the opportunity. I'm like, okay, so next turn, what I could do then is I could just teleport and grab the ring and then selfless sacrifice thing.
Right.
But then he let you grab it.
Yeah, he let me go pick up the ring, and I was going to sacrifice myself because that's what she would do to save the entire universe. There's no question there.
It would, okay, if anyone wants to comment on this on any of social medias or the video, it might seem like I was stealing your spotlight moment. Because I was thinking about that last night on like the drive back home. You were having a moment of like, he said, oh, what do you do? And you're like, oh, you wave, like you turn and wave. And so it was like very much a your moment kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of stole it. And so I'm like, was that just a that guy thing?
For those of you who might be confused, he did use his Misty Step, took the ring from my character, pushed her out of the light, and sacrificed himself.
Yeah, so basically, I already had the mindset of like, okay, I was already going to do that.
Right.
So then when you did, I'm like, well, can I still do it? Because I was like locked in my mind of my character doing it.
I do keep joking with you and saying you stole my selfless sacrifice. But honestly,
so
I also see it as you saved my character's life.
So hang on. I want everyone to rate this because this is probably the coolest moment like I got a character to do.
It was a cool moment.
I will say I Misty Step right next to Tiffany's character, grabbed the ring. And I like to imagine like it was like in your hand and we have joint hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say my line and then I take the ring out of your hand and then I just ascend up.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys remember, my character was the Hex Bard class that we made and I was really excited to play, where they keep taking over bodies. And I've lived so long I can't even remember so many of my past lives in past bodies. I say the line, I've died 1,000 times. What's one more? And I thought that was a super awesome like movie line that came up on the spot.
No, it was a good movie moment.
And it was like, it was so satisfying. And then I send it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of character, I said a joke to your husband that I'm like, no, that would totally ruin the moment. But it was such a very satisfying movie moment.
It
of
was.
Like how my character who like kept dying is like, he's not afraid of death.
Yeah. Which is why I'm not mad at you for doing that.
Okay. But I did realize afterwards on the drive home, I'm like, I totally stole the spotlight, didn't I?
I was like, I've never actually had a character die in a campaign. And thanks to you, I'm still standing strong on that. I've never lost a character and had to remake a new one.
Oh, I could just kill your character in our Monster of the Week campaign then.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always had the mindset that I'm not so attached to this character that it'd be the end of the world if they died. I'll just make a new character and, remember their legacy. But yeah, nope, never died. So I thought that was going to be my first time. Nope, still not. You saved her.
I will feel bad, but
No.
my line holds
Your
me
line
back.
made it better. But see, your character was, I don't even know how old. My character was young compared to him. So I also saw it as he sees this young thing that still has so much life ahead of her that he wanted to make sure she had that life to live.
I think it was more like, oh, death is inconsequential because he's experienced it so many times.
Right.
He didn't think that the sun will actually rip apart his soul.
Oh yeah, on that note, it definitely destroyed his soul to the point where he's not coming back again.
According to the description, my character is officially dead.
That is how he actually dies. He finally gets to rest.
Yeah, it's that kind of quaint movie moment where it's just someone who has lived a mortal life finally having rest. But to be fair, I did not think that he was going to die.
Yeah. No, I
think that he probably didn't think that as well.
Yeah. I even afterwards had my character look around for his loot to reappear. And when she realized it wasn't manifesting, that's when she realized, oh, he died.
Well, to be fair, I think if he didn't fully die, the loot would just be floating in space.
Probably.
It would not be back on the last solid ground he was on.
So knowing that then, she would probably know that it would just appear somewhere randomly. She's probably on the lookout for that loot for the rest of her life.
And she would not pick it up.
No, she knows not to touch it. She knows to send someone she doesn't like to go pick it up.
I joked around that's oh, I scarred these two people to never pick up a musical instrument because they'll be afraid that it'll possess them.
Wait. Can it take the form of any musical instrument or is it always a lute?
Well, for my character, it's a lute.
Okay.
I mean, if that is within... Is it
always the same lute?
It's a hex blade class.
Yeah.
Which is usually power comes from a blade usually, but right. I flavored it so it's a lute.
Right.
So that means that any object could be it. Because it's the same kind of, well, I reflavored it so it's actual possession instead of just granting them power.
Yes.
So if that works, then any wearable item could.
Okay, but for that character, is it always going to be the exact same loot?
Yeah, because it's him.
Yeah. And
because it's also Bard, Hex Bard. That's why I made it a loot.
The fun thing that we talked about afterwards was he could technically play that character again. It could just be in the past, one of his previous lives.
True. He might be a go-to character just for fun.
For funsies.
If I want to play that class again.
And you just have that, just always have that character on the back burner in case your character dies. Just be what's this loot doing here?
If I ever get bored of the character.
That too.
Maybe. Anyways, I think we talked long enough because we are quite a bit into this episode now.
That's Midge.
So, enjoyed it. That was my first module that I finished.
That's technically the first one I've actually finished too. I've been halfway through another one.
So, yeah, we enjoyed it, all that stuff. Now our Sundays are freed up.
Yay.
Anyways, so this episode, we're actually going to be making something based off of Roll Nat 20.
Woo!
Because it's, been a couple months.
Yeah.
We need to get through this D20 list that we made, so.
Yeah.
That's why we're okay, let's start doing these. And we still enjoy them.
Not that it's a chore or anything. I absolutely love making quests based on these. They're so cool.
No, but the thing about this podcast is we go through lists. We
work our way through a list.
Yeah, we work our way through a list. So this is just another list that we made that we need to get through.
Yeah.
That kind of mentality. Thank you, Roll Nat 20, for allowing us to continue to make things off of your posts.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get to roll.
Yes, please roll a D20.
I got 14.
14. I got to scroll all the way down here. Here we go. Side quest number 134. A man who becomes a toad, which becomes an elephant, which turns back into a man. Begs the player characters for help. He says that his entire town has been infected by some disease, which causes them to randomly polymorph. He says they can't make it stop. They think it has to do with the new well they dug, but before he can continue, he changes into a horse.
Okay, first thought, and we're not going to go down this route, is Emperor's New Groove.
A llama? Why Why is he a llama? He's supposed to be dead.
I've turned into a cow. May I be excused? You
Yes.
may leave. Anyways, great movie
Oh, so good.
of our generation.
Oh, yes. Any generation, anyone would love that movie. It's so good.
I don't think the younger generation even saw that movie.
Well, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it.
Anyways, so random polymorphs and hinting at infected by some disease that's with the well.
Could be the new well.
Oh, it could be a red herring, yes.
Yes.
And it's the person who suggested that turns into a red herring.
The moment he says well, he turns into a red herring.
No, like when the player characters talk to them and then he's like not feeling well and then turns into a red herring and see if anyone catch it. Like just say it turned into a red scale fish.
Oh, I always thought a red herring was a bird. Okay. No, I think you're right. I think that's a fish. Okay, nope, that's a fish. Yep. It's a red fish.
Okay. Yeah, I was right.
And I spelled it right, which is kind of honestly surprising. I didn't know if it was Harring or Herring. It's the E.
So yeah, red scaled fish, and see if the players will recognize that as a joke and then not actually investigate. So we can't go for this stupid joke.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make sure that it's not because of the well. So what causes this entire village to randomly transform into animals?
And it has to be something that only affects is the word I was going for.
Well, it is an attack.
Yeah, it is an attack, yes. But it only affects the village people, not the players, if they set foot in the village.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Or do we also say it affects the players? Nah.
That'd be too difficult. Well,
yeah.
Oh, man, because then you can like jump into an almost the witch is dead situation, which is a very short role-playing game that is so much fun, where you get to play as animals.
If we hit a certain like followers or consistent view count, we'll do a special episode where I will DM a Witch is Dead one shot. I'll say that now. It'll be a pain to edit, but I'll do it.
I love The Witch is Dead. It's so much fun. It's like a single piece of paper is the entire rule set for the game. It's great.
Yeah. Well, it's called a one-page RPG.
Mm-hmm. But, okay, I like this idea, though. What if the moment the player characters like set foot into town, they're affected too, and they need to go through like figuring out what's wrong with this town, randomly changing animals every hour?
The difficulty is, are you going to say that they can't talk to each other when they're in animal form?
I feel like animals can communicate with each other.
That's one thing that I will have an issue with if turning the players into animals.
What if they still had like their regular abilities? Like if one of them had like message or something, they could talk to each other telepathically. Yeah, just assuming one of your characters has that.
Well, actually, message isn't a telepathic thing.
It's a spell.
Yeah, but it's like it's whispers like on the side, like within the ear canal or something like that. It's not telepathic.
Oh,
because my hexbard had message, so I knew that it wasn't a telepathic thing.
I don't use that spell ever. Anyway, we could just play along the lines that animals can talk to each other. Like becoming an animal gives you essentially speak with animals.
I think we should focus on what's causing this, and then if what's causing it could work for affecting the players as well, then we'll just roll with it. If not, then we'll just roll with that direction. Let's find a solid reason how people are turning into animals.
So, I was actually reminded of an anime I've watched recently. I can't remember the full title of the anime because it's one of those slightly long ones.
That describes it.
Yeah. But the word Fruit Master, one word, is like the main part of it. That's just what me and my husband refer to it as, is the Fruit Master anime.
I have no idea.
I think we just call it the Fruit anime now.
Down in the comments, correct us.
Yeah.
Or actually tell us the title.
Yeah. So basically the concept of the show is at a certain age, everyone is given the chance to eat this magical fruit that gives them a special skill. They can only ever eat the fruit once in their entire lives. If they ever eat it again, they will die.
I think you've told me about this before. I can't remember if this was on the podcast or not.
It's very similar to One Piece with the devil fruits, but in this world, everyone gets to try the fruit. Anyway, the main character has this little apprentice girl that was cooking dinner for him, And she didn't realize. Oh, and by the way, his ability is Fruit Master. He can grow
Yeah.
fruit.
I remember this.
Yeah.
You told me then his is where he could absorb multiple fruits without dying
Right.
and gaining
And she
more and more
unknowingly
skills.
put some of that magic fruit in dinner.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, what if there is a magical fruit that grows on a tree near town? No one knows it's magical, but it causes people to polymorph randomly for a specific amount of time after consuming it. And they had a big festival, and someone who didn't know what the fruit does made this really good food out of it, like a pie or something, and everyone had some of the pie. And now they're just randomly polymorphing.
That could work, but my question is, how would the players fix this then?
They just gotta wait.
But that also doesn't explain how the man becomes a toad, then becomes an elephant, and then turns back into a man.
Humans are creatures too. Humans are also animals.
No, I'm saying like if the man ate
Essentially.
it
Yeah.
and turned into a toad, are you saying that fruit also then turns them into another animal while they're still in the first animal form?
Yes. So the properties of the food like makes them randomly polymorph every like set amount of time. Like it just keeps changing it up. One of the options is human. What if he wasn't even human to begin with?
What do you mean? Okay. What rabbit hole we're going to go into by me asking, what do you mean?
Like, was he dwarf? Does he suddenly become human? He's like, oh, well, this is new.
Okay. I thought you were going to go down a rabbit hole of like, oh, they were all just frog people or like not like actual people, frogs.
Yeah.
Like
No. What I'm saying is, like, it states at the very beginning, a man who becomes a toad, which becomes an elephant, turns back into a man.
Yes.
I was just saying, like, maybe one of, like, because it just goes through a random list of creatures, one of which is a human. So there's always that chance they'll turn back into a human.
What if, sorry, I'm going on a new tangent. If we find something that's like, these future ones are dumb, we could go back to fruit.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be fruit, but.
No. It's still a good idea. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
This is kind of silly. And also, I don't know how the players will fix this. It's really hard for like both of ours. Because what if like this village that keeps turning animals and all that stuff, what happens if they're druids and they don't realize it?
So they all have like the base druid ability to beast shape.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's stupid, but like
I'm trying to think of like it's a very intentional thing.
But if they are not aware of their powers, it's a dumb idea. I know you could shoot this down.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think of like how to make it work. Like it could be that they were just suddenly all gifted the ability of druids and they don't understand it. And as soon as an animal of any sort pops into their head, now they're that animal.
What happens if it's a village that's near a forest or whatever? Because they love to do that in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if like the town recently like saved a creature, like an animal, you know, like nursed an animal to health,
right?
Whatever, and the like nature itself. I think that's how druids get their power. Or you could say the god or goddess of nature of the world,
right?
Then bestowed upon them druidic powers because they were friends to nature and they didn't realize it. And then these things happen and they don't know what's going on.
Whoops.
But then that doesn't create anything for the players to solve.
Aside from teaching them how to handle their druid powers.
Yes, and that's one of the things why I'm so against my own ideas, because it doesn't really create something for the players to solve.
And also, the ability to change into so many different animals within a day is actually out of the range of what Beast Shape actually does, which is, I believe, is about twice a day.
It's based off your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, which starts at 2. So they should only be able to turn into 2 animals each day for an hour.
I know what you mean. But then again, when it comes to NPCs,
you can bend the rules
quite easily.
Okay, we can put that one on a side burner as well. I've got another one.
Okay.
It's from a series of books I read that I don't remember the name of because of my bad memory. But there was a character that when she was a little baby, she had so much magical power that she could just like wave her little baby arm and do these amazing magical feats and everyone around her was just like at her whim. Like there's no way they could control her. She would just like wave at her nursemaid and turn her into a horse for fun because it made her laugh, and she was a baby, so they couldn't really fault her for doing it. She didn't know right from wrong at the time. So what if maybe that magical creature they rescued is a baby with obnoxious magical power, and the players need to figure out how to get that baby back home to the Feywild or something like that?
I don't know how I feel about that one.
Okay.
Because it's like, yeah, it actually gives them direction. But it sounds like it sounds a little weird about they saved a baby. And it's just like, okay, you guys could be animals now. It just, I don't know. It sounds weird to me. I don't know why it's not sitting right.
Well, it doesn't have to be like the baby is giving them the ability to change on their own. The baby is the one changing them. So it's not that they have druid powers now. It's just that the baby's just like, I think it'd be funny right now if you were an elephant. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's hilarious.
Oh, wait. I just had an idea.
Oh.
I'm moving this town in deeper into the forest, so it's actually a part of the forest.
Okay.
And what if these villagers that are experiencing these animal polymorphs,
Mm-hmm.
each time they're lasting longer than the previous time?
Okay.
And it's really a circle of druids that's deeper within the forest who are very anti-human, conducting a long-lasting ritual to slowly turn people into animals.
Okay.
Because that is a better balanced world than it is to have sentient humans in it.
And each time the people like shift animals, it's a wave of power that's getting sent out to like reinforce.
And they're starting within the forest.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's where their power is strongest, is within nature.
The only thing I have to say against this would be this is not the first time we're making druids the antagonists.
So?
Okay. Just throwing that out there. I like this idea a lot.
Okay. And this would also mean that it could affect the players as well when they hunt down the druid circle.
What if there is either a wisdom saving throw or constitution saving throw to resist the wave?
I believe if we just treat it like a polymorph spell,
okay, let's look.
I believe those require a saving throw.
I think you're right. To the internet. All right. I have found 3 different polymorph spells. There is polymorph, true polymorph.
No, we're going with regular polymorph.
Mass polymorph.
Okay, fine. Mass is probably just the same as regular polymorph.
It's up to 10 creatures, but if we like beef it up as a ritual type thing and stuff like that.
Polymorph. I'm just reading this the info about polymorph because I pulled it up on my phone.
Yeah.
Makes a wisdom saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we could easily just do another wisdom saving throw and all that stuff.
And if any of your players are shape changers, they automatically succeed if they're unwilling to change. I like that little feature.
So, what we could say is, though, we will add the same stipulation that if you fail, you become a random animal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'll be funny if, you know how they have like flashcards for monsters and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Just have a deck of just random animals and you're just like, draw a card and these are your stats.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
But I would say every time they fail, let's say the first time is like a minute,
Mm-hmm.
and then second time is 3 minutes,
mm-hmm.
and then third time is like 6 minutes, and like longer and longer every time they fail.
And let's say the wave, like there's a pulse every hour or so, because this does say concentration up to an hour. So every hour a new pulse goes out and everyone changes for however many minutes they've been like previously been affected, like blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah. And people who have been affected by it multiple times, they stay the animal for the whole hour, like it get up to a certain point. They stay whatever animal it is for the whole hour, and they change to a different animal at the next hour.
Or if they're lasting, well, okay, so if we do this, how do we explain the guy who became a toad, then became an elephant, and then back to a human?
Yeah, that one's a little bit weird. Maybe they started...
I want to do this idea because it's a good idea. Yeah. But it doesn't fully explain that guy. Oh, what happens if...
Maybe he's having a bad reaction to it, and he's just shifting around between things.
Well, okay, what if the person who came to the place for help, he left the village,
True.
go for help. They're not in the village like it's turned. He left the village to get help, came across the players asking for help and all that stuff. So he turned back to a human when he was out of range of that spell.
Right. But it's like having lingering effects on him.
So he has been turned so many times that when he became a toad, that toad was longer than an hour. So then he basically got hit with the spell again, which then changed to a different animal, which is an elephant. And then he left the forest to get help. And then that lasted more than an hour. Then he turned back to himself.
Right.
After the polymorph was up. Does that make sense?
Yes. But then at the very end, it also says he's talking to him and he changes into a horse.
Oh my God.
I like the concept, but maybe while he's talking to them, leading them back, the wave hits him again. Like he just gets right back within range or didn't realize the range had increased and gets hit with that in horse because he has very low willpower. Wisdom. That one.
Okay, he's just outside the forest because he didn't want to rampage around as an elephant.
Yeah. He didn't want to scare anyone because not very many people get to see elephants. I've only ever seen them at zoos.
And so then he was leading the players towards the forest and he got closer as he was explaining.
Yeah,
so
and then the wave goes through and since they're so far away, it's such a weak wave that it doesn't affect the players at all. But he's been hit so many times already and has such low wisdom that it instantly affects him and bam, horse.
We're trying to justify this so hard.
Hey, it works now.
Okay. And then it'll be just as simple. They go into the center of the forest, find the druid circle, stop them, kill them, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Standard
or
thing.
talk them out of it, depending on how you want to play.
And then explain everything to the villagers. I would also say if you want to have, you know what, DM's choice of how to handle the players talking to each other when they're animal form. Or talking to the villagers if you require, animal speech or not. That is up to the DM. We got the very solid groundwork.
The horse guy's name is Terrence.
Okay. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just looking at my list. I'm like, I like this name.
So Terrence and all that stuff. I feel like this episode's getting a little bit long because of our ranty beginning. So I think we got a solid foundation.
Yeah.
And the smaller details, that's up for the DM on how they want to run their game. So thank you, Roll Nat 20, for providing this very interesting side quest idea.
I love it.
If you actually want to use the other ideas that we said beforehand, before we settled with this one, go for it and let us know on any of our sites if you did that or do the one that we ended up with. You gotta let us know on the comment section of this YouTube video, on X at QuestBoardPod, or on Blue Sky at QuestBoard. If you have a job posting of your own that you want us to make a quest out of, let us know on any of those sites. I think with that, I wish you all a good night.
And happy questing.